Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Pamela Tate Roger from the San Francisco Bay Area, and we are going to be talking about blogs tonight. So, tonight's topic is So You Want to Start a Blog, and we're going to go on and get started without any further ado. The first thing you want to do is pick a blog name. I recommend that you choose something descriptive. It could be Serenity's Journeys. It can be Savor the World Travel and More. It could be Travel Squad Goals. Try and choose the same name as your business just to be consistent with your branding. It'll help you to kind of like keep things unified. When you're doing your blog, you also want to think in terms of branding. So, same color tones, you're utilizing your logo if you can. You want to make sure that everything stays consistent across your brand. And why is that important? We want people to be able to look at your blog and identify that this blog belongs to you. And we want to make sure that we're doing that by one, making sure we're using the same colors, making sure that our themes are all the same. And that's a great way to get started with that. So, picking a blog name, ideally, you want it to be the same as your business name, your travel business name, or else you can pick something different where if that is the case, you can name it Travel's Journey, and you can say Travel Journey by Savor the World Travel and More if you can't get the same name as your business name. It's important. Then those two things need to stay together, and that's really important again because it will be consistent with your branding. Next one, get your blog online. And that might sound like, yeah, of course you want to put it online. It's a brand, it's a blog, right? It's really important to get it online though and get it out there. So you want to register your blog, and you want to do that by getting hosting. There's a couple of different blog platforms that you can use, and they're blogger.com. WordPress has really great blogs. Wix also has blogs. That's wix.com. They do have a blogging platform as well. Now, Blogger, you can actually set up a free blog. Blog will Blogger will host the blog without you paying for a domain name. You can pay for a domain name, and then you have to pay for it to be hosted monthly, meaning it's going to go on somebody's server. So you do have the option of doing free blogs through WordPress as well as Blogger, but you would have to get it onto someone's hosted networking site if you wanted to make it something simple like Savor the World Travel and More blog. It would be savortheworldtravel.com like mine is now, which is my website. But if I wanted to actually name my blog that, I would have to pay to get it hosted, or otherwise it would be Savor the World Travel at blogger.com or at wordpress.com. So when you first start out, it's fine not to pay for hosting. Get a feel of your blog, start to pick out what you want to do with the blog, and then I recommend going on and adding it. Um, and then at that point, it's worth the investment. You want to fiddle around with things for a little bit before you start paying for a bunch of extra things, because free 99 is great, but also as you're building your brand and you want those things to be consistent, you definitely want to make sure that you are getting what you paid for, and make sure that you like what you're paying for before you start to pay for it. So we're going to go on to the next one. And I'm sorry. There we go. I don't normally have to switch my slides from that location. So now we're going to talk about customizing your blog. You can choose free templates if you use Blogger or if you use WordPress, but you can also pay for templates. And those are cool. They have some really great templates that are available that you can pay for. Um, they are customizable. So like if you see a layout that you like, you can certainly take the free one. Same thing applies if you see one that's on a paid blog, like it'll be like $5. Sometimes they range up to $30. But it's great for you to just kind of get a feel when you're looking on blogger.com and when you look on wordpress.com. blogspot.com. They have tons of templates. Try and get a feel of what you like. Most of them will let you change the colors to match your current logo and to make sure that things are uniform, right? You definitely want to do that. Make it your own when you're looking at these templates. I want you to think about, like, when we use Poster My Wall to make flyers. Some people, when you're beginning, you start off with exactly as the template looks, right? But as you started to work around and use that platform, you learned you could change the color background. You can add a logo. You can take away some of the pictures that you didn't like. You can add additional pictures. And so you definitely want to customize your blog and make it your own. It's a reflection of you and your business. And so that's important that you do that. The next one, I don't have too much written here, and I feel like this is going really fast tonight because this is our introduction to blog writing. Next week, we're going to look at samples and kind of look at things that you can write about and talk about. But let's talk about blog post ideas. If you are going to be writing a blog, I know the first thing people say is, I don't know what to write, right? I used to have a blog that was a non-travel related blog. And so blogs can be travel related, they can be personal, they can be health focused, they can be sports focused, they can be business focused, they can be mom focused. There's so many different things that you can actually write upon when doing a blog. You can also write your blog as a daily blog where it's just kind of like journaling. You can do it 3 times a week, where it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, where maybe Mondays you talk about traveling to a destination. On Wednesday, you talk about food and places to visit at that location. And the third day, which would be Friday, you can talk about different accommodations at that location. Those are blog ideas. You can make it and do whatever you want to do with it, and it'll be fine because it's yours, right? And as you develop and start to do it more often, you're gonna learn and figure out what it is that you love to blog about, and those types of things will start to come out in your blog post. You can write travel advice. If you've been somewhere, I hit the wrong button. If you've been somewhere and you love that location and you really enjoyed that destination, you can talk about different things that you enjoyed there and advice about getting around that location. You can talk about things that you learned while you were there. You can talk about native things that are occurring there, festivals that are happening there. You can talk about different times of the year to attend, and it'll be fine. But whenever you're doing a post, you always want to include photos. It can be a photo of you at that destination. You can do photos of like your friends or your clients who attended there. You can do what else can you do? You can do photos of the actual location. You can go on Google. Google's our best friend, right? Use those things to help build content, right? And those are great things that you can put on your those are great things you can put on your blog, right? And always remember, you want to include photos in your posts. And I'm sorry, my daughter just wrote me. You always want to include photos in your posts. Why? Because it's a great visual, and that's really important. And let's see. I'm going to move off of that. Anybody have any ideas or thoughts around blog posts? Again, we kind of try to be interactive. I know as we talk about blogs and people kind of go, I don't know what to write. Have any of you ever seen a travel blog? And if so, what drew you to it? And if not, I'm going to give you a couple of travel blogs that you can look at that are really, really great. I have a friend who writes a blog called Packs Light. I think it's PACKSLIGHT. Her name is Gabby, and she actually just left her job and is now a full-time blogger. She is a monetized blogger, meaning people pay her to visit locations and to write about the locations. She's 24 and she is traveling the world and had started her travel adventures at the age of 17, going to Iceland for a graduation trip. And now she's out of college and is traveling the world as a travel blogger. It can happen. It takes some work. It was not easy for her or anybody else that I know, but it's a pretty phenomenal story and a way to make a living where people now pay her to go visit the places that she wants to see in the world, which is pretty awesome. The other one is Gloria Altimo, and I always forget the name of her blog, but it's like a global something. I'm looking that one up, so I apologize, and that should have been right on the tip of my tongue, and it's not, so I apologize for that. And she is a global blogger. She's recently come into some health issues, and so she's not traveling as much. She's actually back in the States for quite a bit now, and will just be kind of resting and getting her physical self back together. But we're excited to have her home. She writes a phenomenal blog as well, and I've actually learned a lot about taking photos from her and monetizing and learning about how to monetize a blog and get people to one, pay you to attend places, and then for you to learn about different things in negotiating when you are attending a different location or on a trip, and kind of what do they call it, quid pro quo, where you can kind of exchange value for value. And so she has done some great monetizing with her blog as well. Now, when you're first coming into the blogosphere, don't get the idea that you're going to be um, making all this money. And it's nice to think that that's going to happen, but honestly, it doesn't. People who are shining right now and doing such a great job, and you're looking at their blogs going, oh, wow, this is awesome. This is awesome. Trial and error. And there were lots of bumps and bruises along the way when they first started. But, perseverance is one of those things that will help you along the way. And it also helps you to get to where you want to go. And so that's one of those great things to think about when you're starting to do your blog posts. None of your posts are ever really wrong. You do want to kind of stay away from a lot of opinion. Like, I went to Ireland and the people were rude. You don't want to put that as a blog post, right? Because that's not going to be appealing to people. But you want to write to people things that are going to appeal to them when they read it. Like, oh, I never really thought about going to see the Northern Lights, but now I'm thinking that could be a pretty cool trip. Or if you pick a destination, like say St. Lucia, you could talk about St. Lucia and the native culture there. And then you could talk about how they have an annual jazz festival. And you can talk about the beauty and the beaches that are there and the types of food that people eat. And so you are, one, talking about a destination, two, showing some expertise on it, and then also give them some information about how they can book it, and that you are a travel agent and you're happy to help them book that trip. Now, our next one is write and publish your first post. We talked about the types of posts that you are doing, but when you do a brand new blog, the first thing you want to do, just like when you start a web page, is introduce yourself to your audience. Let people know who you are, let them know what your specialty is, and let them know that this is your blog. They're welcome to come by and read it as often as possible. Let them know the type of articles you're going to be posting on your blog, and let them know that you are excited that they're there. Then you want to pick your first destination to share for your first blog post. And I say pick a destination because it's easy to write about something. There's plenty material about a destination. Think of the favorite place that you've been or your favorite place that you'd like to go, and make that your first destination and write something about it. A blog does not have to be a 5-page novel, but it should be a little more than one paragraph. You start off with who, what, why, where, when, and how. You can talk about, you went or someone was going. Where do they go? What's that destination? Why would somebody want to go there? When is the best time to go there? What's the best time of the year to travel to that location? And how is the best way to get there? Who, what, why, where, when, and how. That can be 1 to 2 paragraphs. Ideally, it should not be 1 paragraph, but I'd say it could be all the way up to 5, 2 to 5 paragraphs. And if you're going really, really, really in depth with lots of links and lots of resources for people to go back to, if you talk about a destination, make sure you include an embedded link. So if you say St. Lucia Jazz Festival, when they touch St. Lucia Jazz Festival, let the St. Lucia Jazz Festival page pop up, right? So they know, wow, this is what the St. Lucia Jazz Festival is. And always, always, always at the end of your blog, thank them for coming and ask some type of question that will engage them. Have you ever been to St. Lucia, or would you ever want to go now? Ask them those kinds of questions. You want to get them to answer a question. And if they are not into St. Lucia, say, what kind of vacation appeals to you that's similar to this post? Engage your audience. This is really important. Our next item is promote your blog. You did a lot of work to get it set up, right? So let's promote it. And I know people go, oh my goodness, I have enough problems promoting my website or my travel business. Well, you want to promote your blog to get more people to read it. And this is where we talk about cross-promoting. You have a Facebook page, you have an Instagram page, you have a Twitter page, you may have a Pinterest page, you have a LinkedIn page. Some people are TikToking. Cross-promote. Let people know. Grand opening of my blog on Friday, April the 3rd. Join me on Facebook Live. And then on Facebook Live, 12 noon, talk about, I just started this awesome blog. I can't wait for you guys to see it. The link is going to be on my Facebook page. Please click the link. Once you click the link, let people know about it. Let people know I want people to read. We're going to be talking about fabulous destinations. We're going to be talking about fabulous events that take place at those destinations. We're going to be talking about how they can book a trip to those destinations and put that on your Facebook. Let that post be a static post on your Instagram. Say new blog post, come and see me at, post your link, right? Post your link to your blog. On Twitter, new blog post, going to St. Lucia, post the bit.ly link of your blog post. If your post address is too long, use bit.ly. If it's not, then use your actual post link. Then on LinkedIn, talk about travel joy for St. Lucia. Feature article posted on LinkedIn. Say new blog post for people interested in St. Lucia, and post the link so people can go to your link. This is going to bring more people to your blog. And also you want to tell them, hey, you can get weekly updates on my blog by subscribing. We want people to subscribe. 1, that gives you their email address. 2, that's a great way for you to build up your email address list, i.e. the training that Patrice just did this weekend, speaking about email marketing. They have now bought into something. They're subscribing to your blog. You still have those email addresses. You can actually send them information about that St. Lucia Jazz Festival. You can send them the weekly post to your link. You can send them the monthly newsletter that you create. You can send them that quarterly letter that you send out about booking vacations for Christmas or for the summer or getting ready for graduation season or thinking about where they'd like to go for spring break. You always, always, always want to be thinking cross-marketing your brand. Now, we talked about asking people to subscribe. Tell people what day of the week you're going to post. Tell them, hey, I'm going to be posting once a week on Wednesdays. Hey, I'm going for it. I'm going to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Or let them know I'm going to be posting on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have Travel Tuesday. We have Thankful Thursday. Whatever your themes are, let people know which days of the week you plan to post, and then make sure that you actually post. And because it's important, be consistent. And tell them Share your blog on their social media. If they enjoyed your post, say, hey, could you post my link on your page? I would love to get new readers. You can even tell them, I'll give you a certificate. All these lovely certificates we have as travel agents. I can give you a certificate to a grocery store. I can give you a certificate for a 2-day vacation, right? Complimentary vacation. If you subscribe to my blog, or if you refer someone else to subscribe to my blog, or if you post my blog on your page. That's a great way to build up your subscription base, which will build up your emails that you would have from clients and potential clients, which again will build up your email marketing at a later time. Finally, happy blogging. We'll be back here next week and we're going to look at a couple of different examples on Blogger versus using WordPress. Now, I'm opening it up to questions. Does anybody have any questions for me? If so, feel free to undo your line.
Hi, Miss Pam. This is Janet from San Diego. I just want to say good information. And I got on, I'm kind of late, so I missed the first part of it. But
well, it tapes and it'll be up on YouTube by the morning.
In the morning. Okay, great. All right, I'll be looking forward to being back with you next week. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm glad you joined me. Did anyone else have any questions about blogs or have a favorite blog or been a blogger before? I always laugh because we get to this time of the night and I know people are tired, but you guys is awful quiet tonight. And I know we have a lot of East Coasters on, which is always pretty amazing to me. I do not take that for granted. Thank you all for being with me this evening because I realize that it's 3 hours ahead and it's 8:30, almost 8:30 here, which means it's 11:30 on the East Coast. So I thank you, which is why I always try and keep this down to a half an hour increments at a time, just so that I can let you all be fresh and get to sleep and we can regroup tomorrow for Travel Tuesday and hear Miss Patrice Abels Vance. But thank you all for joining me. If we have no questions, next week we are going to be looking at some blogging examples and the difference between the different blogging platforms. If anyone has any questions between now and next week, feel free to inbox me on Facebook, Messenger, and I will tell you a time when we can connect and talk, or I can ask any questions or answer any questions that you have during that time. Otherwise, thank you so much for being with me this evening. And this webinar is officially over. Everybody have an absolutely amazing evening. I'll talk to you in the morning.